Hi everyone, thank you for joining for this next session, which we're going to be looking through the cleaning output calculations that you can use to kind of predict cleaning speed that kind of be used in the bidding process. Now, of course, we'll start off saying every site, of course, has unique challenges. You may have inverters, drive shafts, cable trays, and therefore, of course, site visits are absolutely vital. You may be given the specs by the site owner, you may know how many panels there are, know the orientation, know the panel layout, but until we can kind of see the site, make sure there's no erosion, make sure there's things that could really hamper progress, it's worth getting out there for a site visit. Of course, we're going to kind of run through a general overview for understanding the process, but each contractor will have their own calculation process. So contractors, once they kind of have dialed in how they're using the machine, how they're doing water transfer, how they're managing the machine on the site, at that stage they'll be able to really kind of dial in their calculation process. But this should be a useful kind of overview for how you can kind of get started and get a pretty good idea. Now, of course, before we can kind of do these calculations, there's some assumptions that I've made for the sake of this video. So, of course, firstly, we've got a maneuverable carrier vehicle that is suitable for the site to be cleaned. Of course, if you arrive with a whopping great big tractor on a site with narrow row spacings, it'll make your job a lot slower, or maybe even make it not possible. So we're making the assumption that the machine you're taking can actually get around the site pretty easily to enable efficiency. The next thing is that you've got an efficient water refill process, less than 5 minutes and hopefully far less than that, so that you're not wasting much time every hour just filling up with water. If you've got a slow pump or you've got to drive all the way back to your water fill up point, that'll really hamper progress, and therefore you're having an efficient kind of water system is vital. The next thing is a competent operator for moving from row to row. Now, we ideally have maybe 20 to 30 seconds from coming off one row onto the next row, which is certainly doable. And it may not be possible, of course, your first few days off driving the machine, but once you've had your training and kind of got comfortable with the machine, that kind of changing row can get pretty quick. And that's where, your first day, you may not hit these targets, but once you've got dialed in and kind of made progress, you certainly should be able to. And the next one is actually important, is a fairly uniform site. So the blocks that you're cleaning are actually close together. We've seen some sites in the past where you clean a portion of the site, you've then got a quarter of a mile, half a mile drive to get to the next section. That can also really hamper cleaning speeds, especially if you've got a small number of panels that are spread out. It can you may not quite reach targets if that's the case. But again, these things are fairly simple assumptions that we all ought to have anyway, and therefore we can hopefully these calculations are useful. Now, there's some certain factors you'll need in order to make these output projections. Firstly, it's kind of soiling type and severity. Now, this is actually the hardest factor to kind of to work out, because using soiling type and severity is how we try and work out and estimate our cleaning speed. Of course, different soilings, different severities require different speeds, and this is where nothing can beat that local experience. You know what soiling you've got. In the southeast of America, we've got pollen, and if it's really heavy pollen, you've got to go quite slowly. In the same in California, if you've got really heavy dust, it's pretty slow going. But if it's pretty typical light soiling, you can get your cleaning speeds way up, which will help the calculations. Next thing we need to know is panel size, and specifically panel layout. Now, by panel layout, we're meaning kind of what is how many panels are in the stack? Are they horizontal? Are they portrait? Which will just help us work out firstly which brush we're using, and then once we know which brush we're using, we'll kind of know what speed we'll be able to clean them. And lastly, this is the thing that is specifically useful on the site visit, is to work out what obstructions you maybe have on the row. Because lots of tracking systems now have got drive shafts or cable trays across the row. That means, of course, you've got to drive down to the cable tray and back out. Same with the drive shaft. You drive down and reverse your way out there. And also on quite a few of the sites now, they put the inverters in the way of the driving access. So you may be halfway down the road, inverter bang, smack bang in the middle. You've got to again go to the inverter, drive back out again. And these are the kind of things that you learn on a site visit or some really specific site drawings, which can help you work out kind of your obstructions in the way. So once we've got these things, we can then kind of go to some calculation process, which I've kind of made quite a simple one for this video. Firstly, once we know our cleaning speed, we were able to work out the theoretical cleaning meters per hour. So that is, of course, if you're going 1 mile an hour, you will go past about 1,600 panels, because 1 mile an hour times 1,600 meters, which is how many meters in a mile. You'll work out the kind of how far you've driven in that time theoretically. Now, we're not taking into account turnaround time and water refill time at this point. We'll do that later on. So this is imagining you're going straight for an hour, how many meters you will go depending on the cleaning speed. So let's say we're at 0.8 or 0.8 times 1,600 to give you that number. Then we will then divide that theoretical distance by the width of the panel. So that means we will work out how many panels we would pass in that time. Now, often panels are 1 meter, which makes it pretty easy, but they're not all. So we therefore divide the linear distance by the width of the panel, which will give us how many panels we would theoretically pass in that hour. The factor that actually makes the biggest difference rather than the cleaning speed is actually the panel stack. That is, how many panels are we cleaning at the same time when we're going along. Of course, our forward speed doesn't change, but if the panel stack is 1, you're cleaning 1 panel at a time, whereas if it's 2, you're cleaning 2 panels at a time, or 7 at a time. And here's actually 3 examples that we're going to use in this presentation. Top left is a 1P system, on the right a 2P, and on the bottom kind of a 7H first solar array where you're able to actually clean 7 panels at a time. And as I say, this is the biggest factor as to cleaning speed, and then so we multiply the linear panels by that panel stack in order to work out the theoretical total panels per hour you'd be able to clean. Now the next stage is where we take into account turn time and water refill. Now, of course, if the ROs are unobstructed, we say remove 20%. That's assuming 12 minutes per hour that you'll be spent either filling up with water or turning around at the end. Whereas if you've got obstructed rows and you're having to back out, we say 50%. Now, interestingly, the biggest factor that, again, impacts the obstructed row access is actually the carrying vehicle and how fast you are able to reverse out of the row. We've got some operators that are able to reverse out very, very quickly, and they actually save time on that 50%. Whereas if you're in a carry vehicle that is really difficult to move around the site, that is where you may actually lose more than 50%. And as I say here, maneuverable carrier vehicle is vital to achieve effective cleaning speeds, especially on the obstructed rows, because you've just got so much time moving around the site, either reversing or getting from row to row. So we'll now go through some examples. We've got 3 different examples. They're actually all in the US, and hopefully it'll help us kind of put that into practice as we kind of go through it together. Example 1 was in actually Central Valley, California. Regarding the soiling type, as you can see in the photo, we've got moderate to severe ag dirt and dust. And we actually, when we were there, we were cleaning at about 0.8 miles per hour. Now, of course, this is the step that is the most challenging. This is the step that local experience is key. And we can help as much as we can, but actually getting out on site and seeing what the soiling is like is the most important here. So we estimate 0.8 miles per hour cleaning speed. The panels are 2 meter by 1 meter. And the panel layout is 2 in portrait, 2P, which means that stack, of course, is 2. We've got no obstructions. It's a beautiful site, and the panel is 2,376. Is the amount of panels on the site, and using that information, we can of course just plug it in to that basic calculation process that we've got. So cleaning speed 0.8 miles per hour times 1,600 means that we will theoretically pass 1,280 meters for every hour that we're cleaning. Panel width is 1 meter, so 1,280 times 1 is 1,280. Panel stack, of course, we've got 2 panels high, so 1,280 times 2 is 2,560. These are theoretical panels per hour. And of course, on this site, because there's no obstructions, we've got the times 0.8 for the actual number of panels cleaned per hour of 2,048. So if we take the total number of panels on the site divided by panels per hour, it says it will take 1.2 hours to clean the site. Now, myself and one of our dealers, we actually on that site, we did it as a bit of a demonstration for the customer. We even actually let the customer jump in and we trained him. We did that site in about just over 2 hours, but we'd also done some training and it was a demonstration. If we'd have had time to if there was no interference and just get on and do it, 1.2 hours would easily have been achievable, showing that these calculations are about right. Example 2, this is a site in Texas. we see here it's a single panel tracking site. It's an ATI is the mounting system. So we've got a drive shaft through the center, which means, of course, we can drive to the drive shaft, reverse out. This type of soiling was a kind of a moderate pollen and ag dirt, which the Sunbrush cleans off brilliantly. We were able to clean about 1.2 miles per hour was our cleaning speed, as a good estimate on kind of moderate soiling. And the panel size again was 2 meter by 1 meter, and the panel layout was single portrait. Regarding the obstructions, we've got drive shafts, but we've got pretty good access roads kind of around, which means that going from road to road isn't that challenging because you've got lots of space. And the site was 220,000 panels, and yeah, it was here in Texas. Of course, we can plug those information in. Cleaning speed 1.2 miles per hour times 1600 is 1920 theoretical meters. Divide that by 1 is 1920. Panel stack again 1, 1920. But of course, the obstructed row access, take off 50%, which leaves us 960 modules. We've got lots of customers either running skid steer or even tractor models in the US that are achieving that 1,000 panel per hour mark, even on the sites with drive shafts and cable trays. So we know it's doable. The calculations add up, and yeah, we've got people doing 1,000 an hour in reality, so we're knowing that we're about in the right ballpark. Of course, 220,000 panels divided by 960 per hour leaves us 230 hours to clean the site. So it's, again, quite a big site, but at 1,000 panels per hour, we can't argue with that too much. Now, slightly different type of site here. This was actually here in just north of Las Vegas, here in Nevada. We've got a 7 in horizontal site, and it's a huge 1.3 million panel site. Now, the soiling was fairly light, and the cleaning speed, we were around 1.5 miles per hour. The panels were 0.6 by 1.2, and the panels were a stack of 7, and there were no drive shafts with pretty easy maneuvering. Of course, we can plug that info in. 1.5 miles per hour times 1600 gives us 2400 cleaning meters at that 1.5 cleaning speed. Panel width, of course, they were 0.6 by 1.2, but they were horizontal, so the longer length was the width. 2400 divided by 1.2 means we will pass theoretically 2,000 panels per hour. The stack depth, we were 7 in horizontal, so a stack depth of 7, which means the theoretical panels per hour was 14,000, which is a pretty high number. And with the unobstructed row access, minus 20%, the actual panels per hour came out to about 11,200. Now, this is an interesting site because the calculations, cleaning speed was right, roughly. And interestingly, because of the site layout, they actually got far more than 11,200. They were actually probably more like the 13,000 per hour because they had long rows and they got very good at moving from row to row. So this is the example where that 20% is a good guide. But in this example, in reality, they actually beat the targets, which is the best way to be. Of course, 1.3 million panels divided by 11,200 is 116 hours, which interestingly, we've got a much bigger site in terms of panels than the previous example. But the previous example, which was only 220,000 panels, only took 230 hours, whereas this one with 5 times as many panels is 116 hours, which is why having that detail as to what the layout is and detail as to the panel size and orientation makes a huge difference as to kind of cleaning time, and that's why these calculations can be useful, because that simple panel quantity number can be misleading if we don't know the layout and the panel sizes. A lot of numbers, a lot of maths, and that's pretty well what this comes out to, but hopefully this was useful and it can give you a good idea as you go to calculate kind of cleanings and what you can do for yourself. Thank you.